Hi, welcome to this video conveniently titled, Click Here to Become a Girl. Now, if you're new here, I hope you enjoy this video. If you're not new here and you've seen a couple of these before, you know roughly what I'm about to say. So, conveniently for you, lovely audience, if you clicked on this with the express purpose of becoming a girl, I have amazing news that will revolutionize the way you approach everything in life. So, if you clicked on a video called Click Here to Turn into a Girl, then you kind of already are one. I know, anticlimactic. No, this video won't illogically hypnotize you into turning into a girl illogically, and no, this video won't magically transform you like a magical girl. I'm afraid it doesn't work that way, lovely audience. However, you know how it does work that way? Within the heart, right? So, transition's scary. Extremely scary, especially nowadays. I won't pretend that's not the case. However, it's worth noting that if you're clicking on a video that says click here to turn into a girl, then understand that's probably the outcome you want, right? Cis people don't really click on videos promising to turn them into a different gender. That's not really why people click on videos that say they're going to do a thing, right? If there was a video called click here to become buff, right? People clicking on that video are clicking on it because they want to become buff. In this case, you clicked on a video that says click here to become a girl. If you want to magically transform into one, that's usually because we want transition to be easy. And that's fair because, well, transition's hard, right? If you want to present in girls' clothes, change the voice maybe use a different name, have different pronouns, that kind of thing, it's okay to feel that way. No matter how old or young you are, whether you're like older than me, younger than me, or the same age as me, it doesn't matter, right? Now yes, lovely audience, I transitioned quite young. However, you don't have to transition young. It's like a thing that society tells us we have to do so that less of us do it, right? This is called gatekeeping, which you can kind of visualize someone at a gate about to not let you into the castle because they maybe don't like the shirt you wore that day, right? That's gatekeeping. So in society, if there's lots and lots of trans people, then obviously more people will be aware of trans people, which makes certain narratives harder to push. What that means is there are some pretty mean people out there in the world that are incentivized to make sure there's less trans people, you know what I mean? However, if you yourself are a trans person, it's okay. It's okay to be one. It's okay to want to be a girl. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I know it can feel scary as it feels like anything related to gender ends up being a political football. However, understand that transition in of itself is unrelated to that political football game, so to speak. You don't have to participate in that. You don't have to worry too much if you don't want to go to protests, you don't want to like argue with conservatives on Twitter or something, which doing so is very unproductive. I don't recommend doing that. Transition isn't about fighting the system, so to speak. It just happens that our existence does fight the system, you know what I mean? So when we transition and become more girl, then, well, we're being more girl, and that's all it is, right? We're just going about our day. You know, me as a trans person, in my average everyday life, as I wear these cute clothes, I'm kind of just doing the things I did before I transitioned, I just feel more comfortable as myself, right? For example, I woke up today, I brushed my teeth, I did a shower, and then as I'm like doing my stuff, I grabbed some hormones and I put the hormones in my mouth. This is estrogen. These little pills here let me experience a girl's puberty, so to speak. And thanks to these little things, I personally feel a lot more comfortable and a lot happier. However, when you hear about these scary hormones that change the body, it can seem very intimidating. However, after I have my little shower, I literally just grab one of these out of the packet, grab some water, swallow it, drink it, and then I do what everyone else does. I go about my day. I go have breakfast, I look out the window and see the birds chirping. It was just 5 seconds out of my day. You know what I mean? Transition can feel scary because it can feel like it will become all life is. that's not the case. Transition just becomes part of life. And if it's something you want, it's okay to feel that way. The things you also value in life outside of transition, you can still do. You know what I mean? Like the hobbies and things you love to do, career aspirations, that kind of thing. The barriers given to trans people aren't related to transition itself. It's about people that are mean to trans people. You know what I mean? It's very socially constructed, which just means it's kind of made up. If you want to become a girl and you also like sports, that's okay. You can be a girl that... If you want to be a girl and do sport, then you would be a girl that does sport. If you like video games and you want to be a girl, you can be a girl that plays video games. You can do all sorts of things, actually. You don't have to adhere to stereotypes. It doesn't matter if you've played Fallout New Vegas, Celeste, all these video games that are associated with transition, and it's okay if you don't happen to fit all the little criterias and boxes that the internet has more or less projected. There's two lenses of stereotypes of what being a trans woman is. These are ones you might have heard from cis people or from trans people, which cis people just refers to people that are not transgender, pretty much. So what a lot of cisgendered people may project is assuming that trans women are the perfect stereotype of femininity. They're so feminine that they become women. That kind of lens. That's not really how it works. For example, what's it say about trans women that are tomboys? Or cis women that are tomboys? It doesn't really, diminish the fact they're still women. You know what I mean? So you don't have to fit the certain criteria. You don't have to become more trans or more girl to be allowed to be a girl. There's not a specific checklist of being as girl as possible. There is criteria in some places to define what being trans is. A lot of these are also socially constructed. We don't really know. Here's the thing, I can act all high and mighty, but we don't really know why people are trans or why people aren't. You know what I mean? There's just something about either the brain or the body, we just happen to be trans. And whether we find out the answer to it or not, I think it's more important just to do what makes you happy, whatever the answer is. And if you don't fit the stereotyped criteria of what being trans is, if you feel happier as a girl anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, you can just live as a girl if you just think it'd be nicer. If you just kind of sit there one day and go, oh, being a girl would be cooler, and like, you still feel that way after like a month, nothing wrong with that. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to take hormones if you want to be a girl. You don't have to do surgeries or something. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is just think to yourself, oh, I feel better as a girl. That's all it has to be. Okay? And you lovely audience have clicked a video called Click Here to Become a Girl. And you've presumably watched quite a bit of Click Here to Become a Girl. So, if being a girl sounds appealing, that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. You don't have to adhere to extremes or social expectations to be allowed to be a girl. You know what I mean? It's not a thing that will make you more girl, okay? Adhering to the boxes created by cishet society, well, doesn't really matter. The most important thing is one's happiness rather than whether something's correct or not. It doesn't really matter. Now, as research improves, we can learn ways to help people that happen to be transgender. That's fair enough. But at the end of the day, when you watch this video and you go, oh yeah, I want to be a girl, then what you do with that information is up to you. You know what I mean? You don't have to prove anything to either me, people in the comments, people in the wider world out there. It just doesn't matter, okay? If you think you'd feel happier in women's clothing, it's okay to wear women's clothing. Heck, you don't even have to be a girl to wear women's clothing, you know what I mean? So if you feel more comfy in girls' clothes but still identify as a guy, then that's fine too. If you like wearing girls' clothes and you identify as a girl, that's cool too, you know what I mean? It's about just doing what makes you happy. I know there's a lot of noise on the internet, a lot of noise about X equals trans, X does not equal trans. something legislation, all that stuff. Just, it's important to take a deep breath. It's important to take a really deep breath. Look at the world around us. Give ourselves a couple of seconds. See what's around our immediate surroundings. Recenter. And think to oneself, do I want to live as a girl? It's okay if the answer is yes. And it's also okay if the answer is no. Getting this far into a video like this doesn't lock you in to becoming a girl. A video like this can't turn you into a girl. I can't turn you into a girl. It's not some kind of whack hypno thing that transforms you, and those don't work anyway, I'm afraid, if you've watched a couple of those. That's just placebo effect. Truth is, the only person that can make you a girl is you, really. And it's something that comes from within. You know what I mean? We can't force ourselves to be someone that isn't us, right? And the person that decides who we are, it's you. You decide, right? In this big world of ours, you get to decide exactly what we do and don't. Know what I mean? It's important just to remember that. It doesn't matter what I say or what someone else says, right? Even if you've watched like a million videos about being transgender, you don't necessarily have to be. However, if what you're hearing is resonating with you, then that might be the case. There's an analogy that's used often within spaces when people are trying to figure out if they want to be a girl or not. And that's the button analogy. You might have heard of it. If you watch a couple of these videos, you definitely have. I like to visualize a button, like a comedically large red button in front of us. Let's say this comedically sized red button could transform us into the ideal girl that we want to be. Okay? Now, if you were prompted an opportunity right now to press the button, the thought experiment is, would you press it? And the answer to that isn't necessarily the important part. The important part is why you did or did not press it. You know what I mean? Now, let's say you might not have pressed it because you're worried about social pressure or people criticizing that you pressed the button. Well, is that a good enough reason to not be a girl? I mean, you decide. If there's people that are judgmental of you, then it might be best to find people that aren't. Life's too short for that noise and people being mean, you know what I mean? We don't have to understand things to be kind to people that are different, you know what I mean? Maybe you feel certain social environments you frequent, you feel you can't press that button. Perhaps for faith reasons. However, there isn't really explicitly a religion that is against being transgender. You know what I mean? You can still practice your faith faithfully as a girl if that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether you're religious or not, you don't have to adhere to like what the noise around you says you have to do. You know what I mean? If you're being a kind person and following what you value and what's important to you, and you're also being a girl, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to get punished for it. Let's imagine the scenario that you're in right now as you're watching this video. I guess imagine the exact environment you're in right now, whether you're on your phone or you're watching on a TV or a computer. Just imagine visualize what you're wearing right now. The kind of clothes that you're wearing, maybe clothes you're expected to wear, or maybe clothes that you are wearing secretly, or maybe not so secretly. Would the outfit you're wearing be something you'd want to wear if you could wear anything you wanted? If you could wear literally anything with no judgment, what would you wear? This answer may guide you in deciding what feels best for you. Perhaps think of a scenario when you're about to go to a party, for example, and people call out to say, hey, we're over here. Imagine them saying the name that you normally hear. Does that feel good, or does that feel bad? Now imagine that same scenario, but you're, let's just say, wearing some girly clothing, and they call out a girl name that you picked. Would that feel better? That answer will help guide you. Would you feel better maybe taking like hormones or maybe even like surgeries and stuff? Does that kind of thing maybe might bring you more joy? If so, that's okay. If any of these things feel like they would bring more joy, then that's more than okay. I mean, it's just okay to be yourself. And the self is defined by you. You decide who you are, not anyone else, including me. I don't pick who you are. I know the video can seem very passive-aggressive. Click here to become a girl. Well, you had an option to click it or not. Maybe the algorithm pushed it a little heavily. Maybe you're watching in spite. If so, I'm sorry the algorithm has done that. But if you click this, perhaps very quickly, or perhaps with that kind of mindset of, oh yeah, then maybe that's your answer, maybe it's not. I guess to end this video, I have one simple question. Why did you click on a video called "Click This to Become a Girl"? What did you hope to achieve? And did this video maybe guide you in ways you can achieve that yourself? Sure, I can't turn you into one, but maybe I said some words that might encourage you to do the spell yourself, so to speak. To do your own magical girl transformation. And if not, that's okay. Yeah, if someone comments, oh, no, probably not me. Yeah, maybe the comment chain will say, oh, no, give it a year. It doesn't matter if that happens or it doesn't happen, right? You don't have to prove anything. So don't let people's peer pressure get to you. If you come back to this video a year from now and you're fully transitioned, for example, and living as a girl, let me know. I have a couple of these click here to become a girl videos, and I frequently get comments from people that watched this a year ago, and now they have started living authentically as themselves, and it brings me a lot of joy. That's why I make these. If you want to keep seeing me make these click here to become a girl videos, let me know. If you're interested in learning more about what it's like to be transgender, I have various videos posted every week about the transgender experience. If you just want to see out of curiosity, that's fine. It doesn't have to mean anything, whether you are or aren't a girl. You know what I mean? Just click on whatever you find interesting. So if any videos from me interest you, feel free to have a look, see how you feel. Until then, if you want to see more from me, hit the funny subscribe button, like the video, and comment what you felt. Less so as an algorithmic benefit, but more so, I want to know what you think. I want to know if this video reached and created that impact. I think that's more valuable than seeing the number of the comment being particularly high. And if you have any questions about just transition in general, you can ask in the comments below. Whether it's like questions about hormones or questions about surgeries, questions about just social transition, questions about like, how do I do makeup anyway? That kind of thing. And I hope I can help as best I can. Hope you enjoyed this video. I understand the world is very noisy right now. Understatement of the century. However, just remember, we're not defined by the noise around us. What's important is you be yourself. Okay? People told me not to transition and be a girl, but I did it anyway. It was my own choice. And I hope whatever information and takeaways you got from this video, you feel like you have what you need to make your own choice. Do what you want to do. No one's forcing anything upon you. Just do what you want. Okay? Cool. Well, I'll see you next time. Hope you're having a happy Pride Month. And as always, stay hydrated and know that you are valid.